Good morning. Here we are in another cold day in Missouri, down in our office, getting ready to face the day. And before we do that, we're going to do a little reading out of Isaiah chapter 9, beginning in verse 2, as we continue just to read through some verses as we prepare our hearts for the Christmas season. And as we celebrate the birth of Jesus. And so we're just going to look at some scriptures. Yesterday we read John 1, 1 through 5. And today we're going to look at Isaiah chapter 9, verse 2. The people who walked in darkness have seen a great light. Now, yesterday we read in John 1 that light was coming into the darkness, into the world. And this says, those who used to walk in darkness now walk in the light. And everyone who's in sin walks in darkness. They are just confused many times, walking from one chaos to another chaos. And yet the light comes to dispel the darkness. The light comes to shine through the darkness. The light comes to show us the way. And so as we read this text, the people who walked in darkness have seen a light. Those who dwell in the land of deep darkness, on them a light is shined. A light shines on those. It doesn't matter our sin. It doesn't matter how dark our path is. There is a light that will shine through that and just change our night from day. And of course, that light is Jesus, who came into the world to save us from our sins. And that's what we celebrate when we start thinking about the birth of Christ. Let's continue. Verse 3. You have multiplied the nations. You have increased its joy. They rejoice before you as with joy at the harvest, as they are glad when they divided their spoils. They rejoice with you. It says they multiplied. See, as they walked with God, God blessed them. As they walked with Christ and they allowed him to come and dwell in their lives and serve him, and they were faithful to him, then he multiplied them and they had joy. What a great thought there. They rejoice before you, before God, as with joy at harvest. They rejoiced as if they were celebrating the deliverance and the harvest that had come in. What happens when the harvest comes in? That means people get to eat. That means they don't starve. That means they have what they need for life. And God has said they rejoice in that. They're excited about that. Let's continue with verse 4. For the yoke of his burden and the staff from his shoulder, the rod of his oppressor, you have broken on the day of me. So God says, I broke all the hardship and I gave you hope. You know, as it tells us in the New Testament, his burden is light. There is a burden. We do have to carry it, but it is light. It goes on, verse 5. For every boot of the trampling warrior in battle, turmeric, and every garment rolled in blood will be burnt as fuel for the fire. So the bad things will be gone, they'll disappear. But verse 6 says, for to us, for to you, for to me, a child is born. To us a son is given, and the government shall be upon his shoulders. And the name shall be called Wonderful, Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, Prince of Peace. For there is one who will be born that will carry our burdens. The governments will be on his shoulder. Life will. He will be our wonderful counselor. mighty God, everlasting Prince of Peace. Verse 7, of the increase of his government and the peace, there will be no end. On the throne of David and over the kingdom, to establish it and uphold it with justice and righteousness from this time forth and forevermore. The zeal of the Lord's host will do this. Jesus will do this. He will give us life. I hope you know that life in Jesus today. I hope that that's what brings you peace and assurance in his promises and his word for tomorrow and a future forevermore. God bless you. See you tomorrow.